We're going to start off today with Senate Bill 208. This is the cityhood bill. There's been a couple adjustments that have been made. We've seen this and passed it out of committee before, and to present the changes is going to be Representative D. Dawkins-Hagler. That's Senate Bill 208, I believe. I think we're working off of, Craig, I'm going to get you to look at me, LC 28804-3ERS.
Yes.
Yes, all right, we're good. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. To all the members of the committee, I thank you again this morning. I am coming back with SB 208. We have two minor changes in the bill, but first I want to thank you for favorably passing it out of committee the last time we were here. The two changes, one is to change the election date to May 24th, and the second change was to change the amount of compensation for the mayor and the council people, moving the positions from full-time to part-time, changing the salaries from $75,000 to $20,000 for the mayor and to $16,000 for the city council members. And those are the changes.
And this was a bill that we had sent to rules, and they'd sent it back where they didn't have to, and since it passed one body, we didn't need to do it before day 30. At this time, we'll any questions from members of the committee? Who do I have there at 16? Representative Price.
I just wanted to verify that the feasibility study has been approved, or?
Yes, ma'am, it has been.
Okay, so that's a change from last year?
No. You mean the salary? Or
No, the feasibility, the
study is the same.
Carvinson
It's the
study.
same, Carvinson Institute. It passed, the feasibility study, yes.
All right, thank you.
Representative Oliver.
There were two feasibility studies, I believe, and the second one revised, updated, and passed. The first one did, and the second one didn't. And I'm ready to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, if you are comfortable with that.
I'm always comfortable with your motions most of the time.
Move do pass LC 28804-3ERS.
Second.
You got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Thank you. Passes.
Thank you. Thank you, committee.
Next is the substitute to Senate Bill 184, and this is a bill that we tabled towards the end of last year. So the chair will entertain a motion to take off the table. Got a motion, a second? Second. All those in favor of taking it off the table say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Thank you. Thank you. So noted. Senate Bill 184. Present that is Representative Corbett. Who's presenting? I can't see behind that. Okay. You're welcome to join them, Senator, if you'd like. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. We're working off of LC 2880661S. This bill was introduced last year. It's been changed. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but basically what this bill does is just a simple piece of legislation that allows for responsible dog owners who choose to keep their dog intact for breeding purposes to continue that line of good hunting dog, a field trial dog, or show dog without fear of retribution or fees from local ordinances. ACCG and GMA is comfortable with the language that's in this bill, and that's basically what it does. It just allows, if you have a hunting dog, that you can keep him, not have to spay or neuter him or pay a fee to be able to do that.
Thanks so much. Questions from members of the committee? Representative Oliver.
Did this bill have a different variation in its earlier history? Am I confused about?
Yes, it did, and this is new language that's in this bill, and this basically pertains to hunting dogs.
The previous bill said that Mr. Chairman, I just want to make sure I understand what
Go
this
ahead.
trend. The previous bill had said that local governments would not be allowed to specifically legislate against breeds. Is that
Trying to breed specific.
right?
Man, that's what it had. And this bill has
None of
the
that.
ability for local governments to still deal with vicious dogs, abandoned dogs, or stray dogs. So it doesn't impede their ability to deal with those in no form or fashion. This deals with hunting dogs only.
And it says specifically that in relation to specific sporting breeds, hound breeds, non-sporting breeds used for hunting, that they, cannot charge a fee? Is that it?
That is correct. There's some cities from South Georgia to North Georgia, counties and cities that they've enacted local ordinances to force you to either spay or neuter all dogs or pay a fee. And this is if your dog is used for hunting purposes, where you're not required to pay that fee or have him spayed or neutered.
How many local cities have that, spay or neuter or pay fee?
I really can't speak to that. I'd have to ask William. He would come up and answer.
I'm William Woodall with the Georgia Hunting and Fishing Federation. It is a growing number. We've seen it in North Georgia and White County. We're also seeing it down in Spalding County as well, and Middle Georgia, and in some areas in South Georgia. So all we're saying is that if we spend money, we're purchasing a dog that has a bloodline, and it's if you have a field trial or a show dog as well, and they're AKC registered, those people that do this for their enjoyment and to raise their dogs for hunting purposes or field trials or show trials. It's just saying that they cannot be forced to spay or neuter that animal or be penalized through a fee for those dogs. And it also applies, if you have a plantation that has 15 to 20 dogs that they use for quail hunting or what other lawful hunting purposes in Georgia, that they wouldn't be required to pay that fee.
Is this I don't remember if this went to a subcommittee. Is this the first time the public's seen this version? Or?
There has been various types of this language for several years. We've been working towards this for several years, and we were able to get together with the GMA and to work on craft language that was more acceptable and not so broad-ranging that would prevent them from doing what they needed to do with vicious dogs or other problems. The actual problems that these local ordinances are going after: stray animals, abandoned dogs, and vicious dogs.
Thank you. Number 29.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think the last iteration we saw of this was specifically looking at, and I'm not sure if it's the same bill, but we're looking at pit bulls, how do we differentiate between breeds? If you got crossbreds or things like that. I'm a hunter. I bird hunt and all, but I just want to kind of get, is this necessary? Is my question.
Yes, I think it's necessary. I own a Boykin Spaniel that I use for duck hunting. That dog cost me several $1,000s to buy, and it cost me several $1,000s to train it. And I want to pass those bloodlines on to another animal. I think it's definitely very, very necessary.
And it has to be permitted, correct?
What has to be?
It has to be permitted. Registered. Hunting permit from the Department of Natural Resources.
I have to be a licensed hunter,
right,
or a lawful type of hunting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Hightower.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To Representative's question about differentiating from the breeds, it says any domestic dog that is registered. So the registration is going to be to a specific breed. So the registration part should take care of that. I do this a lot. I have a lab that I run and hunt test regularly. Do AKC and UKC. And to think that someone's going to tell me that my hunting retriever champion that I spend hours with training, that I got to neuter her, that ain't going to happen. Because, I spend a lot of time with these dogs. My question is, just one, the two predominant registration groups out there, AKC and UKC, was there a reason why you would not be amenable to adding UKC to this? Did I miss that in a prior discussion? Because outside of there, those are your two large groups.
They are.
And they're usually are in different areas. AKC is kind of deals a lot with more field trial type dogs, and UKC has become kind of more of your hunting aspect of it.
And I think that's why you'll see in the language where it says that is of a breed used in the lawful pursuit, and that's like a Boykin is not recognized by AKC. They have their own recognizing agency. So I think that would cover that issue. But I mean, I don't know that that's something I would be concerned if you wanted to add UKC to it.
What I would recommend, at the appropriate time, but just to see if it would be a friendly amendment, just after with the AKC Kennel Club or UKC, which is United Kennel Club, and just add that addition. I don't see how it could hurt anything, but that's the second large dog registering group out there. I mean, your dog is either typically 90% of the time, or more, is AKC or UKC. And then you have both. Like my dog is registered with both. Would that be a friendly amendment at the appropriate time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Hightower. Representative Fleming?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm trying to understand what's going on out there right now. Nobody has passed an ordinance saying that you have to neuter or spay a dog. What they do is that they pass an ordinance that says that if you choose not to, there's a fee for that. Is that correct?
Correct. Some of them up to $100.
So we're not overriding any local ordinances that say you have to do that. I just want to make that clear. We're simply providing that you don't have to pay the fee that one would normally have to pay if you choose not to neuter or spay your dog, right?
That is my understanding. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so what are these fees that we're overriding? How much are they?
Up to $100 in some areas.
In some areas, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Representative Taylor, do you want another bite of the apple?
My friend Dustin, we've hunted before together, and I respect that. I just got a few concerns about this, but I mean, I'm not going to oppose this. I think, but because I think it's going to pass anyway. But it's a little bit vague for my taste. But I mean, you and I have hunted together. We've hit some hot corners with pheasant and all of it. So I just want to weigh in.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Oliver?
Here's how I understand it. Tell me if I'm wrong. We're only taking away the authority of a local government to make a decision on spay or fee for these high-value hunting dogs that are registered. If the local government wants to say to me, who owns a ridiculous basset hound, it's not worth hunting anything, that they want to tell me they have to fee or neuter, that doesn't affect my mutt hound dog at all. It's not registered. They could do that for me.
If it's not registered,
Right.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're only protecting the high-value hunting dogs from fee.
And show dogs.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions from members of the committee? At this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion to pass? Got a second? By substitute. Got a second?
Mr. Chairman, appropriate time.
This is the appropriate time. I'm sorry, do we have a second on the bill?
I have a motion and no second.
Thank you. All right, this is the appropriate time.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to offer an amendment on line 18 at the end of club, add or United Kennel Club.
Or United Kennel Club?
Yes, sir. On which line?
Line 3 in the preamble.
Oh, sorry, and it would also be added in line 3 as well. After club or United Kennel Club.
Okay. Yes, I see it. Does everybody understand the proposed amendment? Any discussion on the amendment? I'd like to hear from, just briefly, ACCG and the Municipal Association. Have any concerns about the amendment?
Hi, I'm Catherine
or the bill.
Fleming.
Or the bill. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Catherine Fleming with the Georgia Municipal Association. We represent y'all working with us on the bill. We're comfortable with the language in it, and we're fine with the amendment as presented.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Afternoon, Todd. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Todd Edwards, Association, County Commissioners of Georgia. Just to address a couple of the questions before, traditionally what local governments had done that had been in previous bills were requirements on spaying and neutering. When those bills came through just like that or were introduced, the concern was through our adoption shelters, whether we could require it on those being adopted out, that sort of thing. This bill does not do that. I think the bill has been carefully drafted, and y'all have spoken to it, to specifically not allow a local government to charge a fee for spaying or neutering the dogs listed. As far as the amendment, we have no objection to that. As far as the underlying bill, Mr. Chairman, ACCG is neutral, but what I will do is report on it to the counties. There may be some that have considerations. They may wish to get in contact with you, but this language is very carefully drafted to not interfere with our spaying or our adoption, other programs that we have, and the breed-specific language is no longer in there, so we have a position of neutral, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Todd. All right, we need to vote on the amendment. We've got a second on it. We got a second on it from Representative Brockway. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. The posture of the committee. Got a motion and a second on the amendment in the first. All those in favor of the substitute to Senate Bill 184 as amended, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Congratulations. I couldn't find you.
I'm sorry, I hadn't done this enough to realize I should have stayed there.
That's okay. That's all the heavy lifting we have for today. Government Affairs is adjourned.